My favorite sporting memory is learning how to curl. I joined a team in high school. I was asked by my high school teacher to join. I'd never heard of curling, let alone played it, and realized it was on ice. I felt a little inadequate, that I would be good at the sport, and a little discouraged, but with our school team, I learned how to curl well. I learned the rules of the game. I learned about teamwork, and I learned how to play it well. And it gave me a really, really good sense of well-being and pride. And the last year of high school, our little school team ended up winning the championship. So that is my favorite memory of learning how to curl.
I think playing through injuries is probably one of the hardest parts. Playing through a broken ankle is definitely one of them. It just comes part of it, but it gives you that tenacity to push forward, as opposed to if you don't play sports at all in your life, then you don't have that drive or that motivation to push through when you have maybe some times that are a little bit more difficult, especially when you go into industry. I think it's a lot of, you find more of the successful people have played sports in the past and they know how to work in a team. Definitely part of which I think, like, I work in accounting right now, and you can definitely see the difference between those that have worked as a team as opposed to those that never have in their life. I think sports is a really good way to get through it because you have to be direct and get to the point.
Oh sure, I can remember in 1972 I had a real bad ankle injury when I was playing minor baseball in Richmond, and fortunately I was still picked for the All-Star team, and the team went all the way to the Canadian Championship. We played probably about 35 baseball games that summer, and I played 2/3 of one inning in 30 plus baseball games, and that was very difficult for me being a competitor. But I realized I was there to do a job, and that was to pinch hit a couple of times, and it was to serve the greater good. And I learned a real good lesson. It was a hard lesson at the time that it wasn't about me, it was about the team. And even though I played a very, very little part in the team, it had a big impact on my life. That team comes before individual.
Thank you. It's very inspiring.
Sport has influenced us because we found each other.
Yeah, we've met each other and we've been best friends since we were about 8 years old or so 10 years, and we made tons of memories together.
We played soccer together, so sport is great. Yay. Yeah. For me, it gave me a lot of discipline in my life because we played pretty competitive soccer, and we learned how to work hard and support each other through teams. So sport taught us a lot about teamwork.
Yeah, it definitely taught us a lot about teamwork and also communication, so how to communicate effectively to others and make sure that you're always nice and kind to everybody. That's a really important part of being in a team as well.
Yeah, being a good person.
I think additionally, another part, there will always be people who are better or worse than you, and it's making sure that knowing that everybody brings in their own strengths to the team no matter what. And so even if someone might be better than you technically, or they might be fitter than you, you're not, like, you always bring something. Everybody brings something unique.
I brought my personality.
Well, for me, sports in the beginning was just play. But through the years, I've learned that it's more than that. It teaches you discipline when you need to go to practices or go to games or sacrifice some times with friends because you have to be committed to a team. It means commitment because then you go together with the team. And it means teamwork. Like, it's not one unit but that wins the game, not one player but the whole team.
Oh, sports is lots to me. I mean, sports, well, even here, it's very valuable for my mental health and for my physical health. I have borderline diabetic, and I dropped my sugars from this. I have there's great instructors here, so, and I play tennis. I'm very big into tennis. Tennis is a life. I met my wife through tennis. So sports is very important. Montreal Canadiens is my team. I live and die for the Montreal Canadiens.
So I remember a memory. This is from Thompson here, and this was one of the first times I had ever gone to the gym here, and it was very interesting. I was here with my dad, and I saw this gentleman doing something called a muscle up on the bar. And I had asked him, after watching him for about 5 minutes or so, what he was doing. And a muscle up is when you're doing a pull up and then you pull yourself over the bar with momentum. So I asked the gentleman what he was doing and if he could possibly teach me, and he did. He showed me what it was, and I tried it a few times on my own, but I couldn't do it. And then about 3 days later, I saw him again, and for some miraculous reason, I could do it. And ever since that moment, I had really gotten into gymnastics and something called calisthenics, and it's basically body weight exercising. And ever since then, I've noticed that my body's gotten stronger. I look better, which makes me feel very confident in myself with going to the gym. And it's these small things in life that kind of attract us to something bigger, and it makes us feel really good about ourselves. And calisthenics and gymnastics has actually become a big part of my life now, just because I stumbled upon some random guy doing a move that I thought was really cool. That's all.
I find that soccer has become not just a passion, but also is a way to get my stresses off from work. And is the moment, the 2 hours that I really enjoy, and my mind would be free from absolute everything. Even though there are maybe hardship in life, but I still keep on playing, and I still enjoying to this very moment.
Negative memories are mostly injuries playing ball. I played football and I was in gymnastics, and during those times I broke my arm 5 times. It was hard to play. I mean, I played hard and messed up my knees, etc., etc., and those are the negatives.
Most negative aspect of the sport is the injuries that I had to go through. And one recent one was about 5 years ago. I actually torn part of my Achilles, and I was able to find out something about myself that I never knew. I was incredibly miserable. I lost something that I loved, right? And because of that, I became a different person. I come here and basically drew of these guys playing soccer, and I was miserable because I couldn't do the same. So.
Oh yeah, I was playing Ultimate. You know, I just jumped too high and landed too awkwardly, and you know that shook up my whole knee. And you know, the waiting process is a long time, so I think my least favorite moment of my life has to be something with my knee too, because the process was so long. You know, the pain was so much, and I couldn't do anything I really wanted to. Right? It really held me back from being who I felt I really could be. I think I learned that it's really important to be patient, and because without waiting. This is a long process. You can't really do anything, right? And you just have to wait and wait and wait, and just trust the results, trust the process, because you have to trust in things that things are going to get better. And I don't know. I think without patience, you can't really progress, right? And it helped me mature as a person too. It helped me learn.
All right, so I've pretty much played hockey my entire life, and I'd say probably the most memorable moment I've ever had playing hockey was when I was playing in the semifinals of a tournament on a rep team, and I ended up scoring the tying goal right before we went into overtime. And then, in overtime, about 50 seconds in, I had a great pass from my center, and I went in and I scored. And that was the first time I ever scored an overtime goal, and it was just magical because there's nothing quite like it, and I will never have that feeling ever again because I'll never play at that high level hockey. So you really got to learn to cherish that moment when you get it. My least favorite memory of hockey is when Vancouver choked against Boston in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. I will never forget sitting at camp and watching them go down. I think it was 5-0. It was brutal. I was crushed. We had such a strong chance that year, and now we've just fallen apart. Hockey was a big part of my life, and I'm glad I played it. So if you can, just play sports.
I used to be a rower, and we had a lot of races during the summer seasons. And one of my most, I think, strongest memories is when you're racing against a lot of other boats, and it's really difficult to have that mindset and keep that mindset of winning because there's so many other boats. But what was the greatest moment for me was when I was with my other boatmate, and we had just that 500 meters left of the race. We could see the finish line, we could smell the gold medal, and when we pushed our hardest, and when we crossed that finish line and heard that horn, and we came first place, I think that was one of the most strongest memories for me, and it just comes to show you how strong you can be when you put your mindset to things. And one of my not so great memories is when I'm coming to the gym. I come here daily, and I was trying to hit a personal best for my deadlift, and it was just a day that wasn't happening. And I'm sure everybody has those, but it affected me a lot because I wasn't able to do it, and I wasn't strong enough and couldn't lift the weight. But hey, I got up and got back at it the next day. So.
A memory that stands out for me is the first time I hiked to the top of Crown Mountain. It really motivated me to get into fitness and strive to be the best I can be and keep working to better myself so I can experience more things like that. It was a sense of self-accomplishment and awe, something that I never imagined I could do, but getting to the top really showed me what I'm capable of.
Thinking back to 2008, like I was a big basketball fan, have been for a really long time. Seeing the Los Angeles Lakers lose to the Boston Celtics, that it burned a hole in my in my heart. But to see them like redeem themselves in 2010 in Game 7, just watching the Celtics lose, it gave me something back. I love the Lakers, and I've been a basketball fan for like my entire life. And those 2 years, they showed me like why I love basketball so much. It was more overcoming. Like if there's something you could take away from that, it was overcoming such unbelievable odds, really, to see the Lakers beat the Celtics like that. It was. Something I can't forget that.
So I play high-level soccer most of my life, with my dad being my coach. So that was my whole life it's been connected with my dad and my family. So my most fond memory is my team from probably about U15 to U18. Progressively lost players, so we went from maybe 15 players down to 11 by our last year. Stayed undefeated regardless, but we got to the finals every year, and unfortunately up until our last year we had lost in the finals, but up until our last year we finally did win. That win took us to provincials, in which we won all of our provincial games. And that was the final moment that we realized like we could get there. And then winning that took us to nationals, and that was when our team really connected. All the parents, all the players, we became this insane team that everybody was fearful of, and we grew it was almost like a family bond. You can't even replace friendships like that, and we might not have won nationals, but it's a memory that sticks with me for the rest of my life, because it was just something you can't even explain, that finally we got there, even with only 11 players and people kind of being hurt and playing a bunch of games, and we had to go through the adversity. So that's definitely my most fond moment, and inspires me to continue to play even at the age I am now.
We actually ended up right in the finals. In the finals, we were up against Australia. Yes, everyone would raise their eyebrows going Australia of all teams in finals. The Aussies had some very European players, and Australia has a very good soccer academy. These kids knew what they were doing. We still tied them 2-2. went into overtime, and we just couldn't hold them off. We lost to Australia, but we lost to an excellent team, and we came very far, and always from dying moments. And then, of course, we all celebrated as brothers and human beings of this world. We had drinks, we went to the beach, we exchanged stories, and we would make contacts that for a very, very long time, we kept in touch with people from around the world. So sports is amazing because it brings people from all walks of life, from all ages, from all religions, and for me, that's my main religion. It's one of the, it's like air, it's like water. I have to play.
Okay. This was Christmas holidays, so we went up to Green Lake in the 70 Mile House area just to do some cross-country skiing and snowmobiling and stuff. And so my brother-in-law had a cabin there, so his neighbors had a potbelly pig. And New Year's Day, we all decided to play hockey because the lake was frozen, which was fine, and they brought the pig on the lake, but the pig was all black, but he had white stockings on his feet, so when he hit the ice, they all turned pink. And of course, the pig was having a hard time staying on the ice because of their little hooves, so it was just hilarious. We had a good time.
When I was young, I was in high school, and then I joined a soccer team. I played as the goalie of the team, and then I joined a few years tournament among high school, and that was a great memory for me because, you know, from Hong Kong, they heavily stress on studying. But then I find out this thing that, you know, you don't need to be study, and then you can still be good at it. Not that you don't have to train, but then it's something outside of the books. So because of that, playing as a goalie experience, then when I come to Vancouver, I continue more or less the same style of playing. So eventually I end up in volleyball. And then I joined different community centers volleyball time. And then in this way, I can start diving as a goalie and then saving spikes as a goalie. But you know, expressing my love of soccer is only one thing when I play among the volleyball player. The other thing that I enjoy most is that I get a chance to learn more about the folks in the communities. It builds a strong bond between me and the stranger. So I think I will feel thankful to the place here, community center, because it provides a place where a stranger can meet stranger, and then all of a sudden from strangers become friends and then become good friends.